The Abyss Crown governed the universe's equilibrium, threading existence into an unbroken cycle. The monolith pulsed with its influence, its molten veins carrying the weight of what was and what would be. Monolithic shards drifted in silent calculation as time, matter, and purpose remained in rhythm. A fracture formed. The monolith trembled, its corridors shifted, its veins dimming. The balance pressed inward to correct the disturbance, but the fracture deepened. The shards drifted erratic, the molten currents slowed, and for the first time the pulse faltered. Through the failing current, a man advanced. The monolith recoiled, reshaping to crush him, but he moved undeterred. He had come for the Abyss Crown, to cast down the force that had guided all things. No path led here, no will should have endured, yet he stood, weapon in hand, ready to end it. Kairo moved through the battlefield like a storm, his strikes landing with force greater than muscle. The ground cracked beneath him, the sky trembling as his fists crashed forward. He did not wait for openings, he created them, each blow breaking through whatever dared stand against him. The force of his attack sent a shockwave through the field. He felt resistance, but only for a moment. Then it was gone, shattered beneath him. He did not count the fallen or linger. The fight ended as they always did, silence chasing the last echo. The dust settled, but the power in his fists did not fade. His arms waited, crackling with energy. He exhaled, not in relief, but in readiness. The ground was broken, the sky dark with battle's remnants. Yet something waited ahead. Kairo tightened his fists. The world never stayed still.
The child was found beneath a celestial sky, wrapped in cloth woven with light. No one knew where they came from, only that the world itself seemed to hush in their presence. The flowers surrounding them swayed without wind, their glow pulsing in quiet recognition. As they grew, their presence shaped the land in unexplainable ways. Water held their reflection longer than it should. Paths they walked never faded, the grass remaining pressed for days. Animals paused in reverence as they passed, eyes locked onto something only they could sense. One evening, they stood at the edge of the world. A presence awaited, vast and patient, woven from the same light that once wrapped them. It did not beckon nor demand of them, but in its outstretched hand, something glowed, an offering or perhaps a return to what had always been theirs.
The edge is gone, Marwyn. No amount of sharpening will bring it back. I need something new.
Ah, finally admitting defeat, are we? About time. Got a few fine blades here. Good steel, strong enchantments.
All right, let's see them.
This one's dwarven made, sturdy, reinforced with electric runes, cuts through armor like butter.
Too heavy. Feels like I'm swinging a warhammer.
All right, how about this? Elven craftsmanship, light as a feather, strikes twice as fast.
Too thin. I don't need something snapping in the middle of a fight.
Okay, fine. Picky today, aren't we? One last option, but it's not for just anyone.
That's so.
Had this one for a while. Try it out.
Now that feels right.
They called him Saul, the Black Wolf of Dead Toll. A lone warrior, his only purpose to fight when no one was left. When the armies of Felidane marched upon the shattered lands of Iliora, he stood ready, a final wall between ruin and what little remained of the free nation. The enemy came in waves, armored soldiers fighting a war they did not choose. Nevertheless, their allegiance would be their doom. Zal carved through them, his strikes sundering steel and bone alike. The sky wept fire, the ground drank deep of the fallen. He was relentless. When dawn broke over Iliora, silence reigned. Thousands lay dead, their banners torn, their masters vanquished. Saul turned from the carnage and vanished into the mist, the people he had saved from destined bondage, unable to find their savior. His path already set towards his next war. Ephraxis moved and the world recoiled. The The air thickened, refusing breath, and the stone beneath it wavered between breaking and vanishing. Structures twisted away, retreating from something that should not be. There was no warning, no hope, only absence where presence should have been. It had been sealed beyond reach, its name stripped from existence. The words, the symbols, the barriers had held for an age, but time had worn them thin. Those who once sealed Ephraxis away had long since faded to dust. Ephraxis was now free, knowing only that it had been denied. The land bent beneath its will, crumbling without a sound. Shadows deepened, stretching far beyond their owners, and the air itself trembled. Where Ephraxis passed, form became meaningless, swallowed by the void it carried. What had once been sealed away would not be bound again. The world is Krytarn's playground, and he plays with no regard for what he breaks. He crushes temples for sport, shatters bridges to watch the pieces fall, and rips apart ships just to see if they will sink. He doesn't consider the harm he does to the world cruel. He doesn't consider the world at all. Kingdoms have tried to outlast him, raising walls so high they swallowed the sun, crafting weapons they swore could bring him down. The strongest fortresses crumble as easily as wooden shacks, and the weapons meant to strike him down rot before they land. Nothing holds, nothing survives, nothing stops him. He welcomes any challenge to his tyranny. Residing in the most caustic of lairs, he waits excitedly for anyone to try and stop him. Never has anyone come close, but the opportunity is always there. The only drop of mercy he gives the world, even if it is from a poisoned well.
Briarix move through the mountain meadows as if they belong to the land itself. With each step, the world finds rhythm. Stone settles, rivers carve their course with purpose, and the earth exhales in harmony. The elements shift in silent accord, shaping themselves to match. They flow through valleys with purpose, seamless and certain, always shifting between states. One moment, they carry the warmth of a summer breeze. The next, they hum with the exhilaration of static in the air. Everything around them feels aligned, as if the world is tuned to their frequency. Some say the Briarix exist as the land's will made manifest, guardians of balance, shaping the world in unseen ways. To witness one in the wild is a rare and fleeting gift, like glimpsing the heartbeat of the land itself. Every tale speaks of them differently, yet all agree the world is better with them. Samson the Bear walked through the valley where warriors clashed, his path marked by battle. The earth rumbled as a force stirred. A terrible beast had risen, scorching the sky. Its existence beckoned for a titan to vanquish it. Smoke carried its challenge. The dragon struck first, fire roaring as the land trembled. Samson met it with strength no other could match, forged in courage. Ash filled the air, sparks flashing. The beast snapped its teeth viciously. Samson held back certain death with only his bare hands. Then, stealing a moment of opportunity, he struck with the might of finality. Dawn revealed a realm renewed, rivers free, fields endless. Samson stood at the peak, watching the world embrace the calm. His deeds echoed in the land itself, the kingdom celebrating his bravery. However, that was not his concern. The land was whole, and that was enough for him.
A tide moves through the world like an inevitability, unseen until the blade has already struck. No one knows where he came from, only the silence he leaves behind. He is an assassin known only as Hinder, though his name understates the devastation he brings. For he is not an obstacle, but an ending. His approach is a death sentence, each motion executed with lethal precision. The weight of his arrival settles before the first strike lands, an unshakable certainty that the outcome has already been decided. Those who stand before him feel the shift too late, their instincts dulled by the illusion of control. His motivations remain unclear. No kingdom claims him, no banner flies in his wake, yet the balance of power shifts wherever he goes. What he does requires the world to adjust without knowing why. One less voice, one less claim, and everything else carries on.